I know I've made this joke before, but this time I'm serious. Vladdy, he kind of pulled a home run. Does that mean that Jesus is coming back? I think so. Repent for your sins. Mason Miller, he looked human for the first time in months, even though a lot of it wasn't really his fault. Starting pitcher version of Mason Miller, Paul Skeens, he was back on the bump. We have updates on robot umpires, if the Yankees are going to be spending money or not, and also the Orioles and the White Sox game ended on one of the strangest calls I've ever seen. Like, ever. Before we start the recap, I just have to say thank you guys so much for 500,000 subscribers, 500,000. I cannot believe that it's real. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We're continuing to grow the game of baseball, and I just wanted to say thank you for the chance to keep on doing that. I love you a lot. I know that might sound weird, but genuinely, thank you for changing my life and growing the game of baseball. I could not ask for a better job. So we'll talk about the robot umpires in a second, right after the Orioles game, but we have to talk about this Rockies and A's game because oh my, it was a roller coaster one. The Rockies had this game in the bag through the first half of this game. I mean, come on. They were raking and carving after Colorado scored their first run on a throwing error from J.J. Bleday. That ball rolled into the dugout. Doyle, he made it 2-0 on a double, and I guess when it rains, it pours. Max Schumann, he was trying his best to battle the sun, but he drops a pop-up, so it's now 3-0. Colorado got another insurance run off the bat of Jacob Stallings, and all of this run support was for Ryan Feltner, who was feeling himself. He went 6 shutout, but we don't really have time to show off his start because the bullpen imploded again. Schumann, he had an RBI single. By the way, we're in the 7th inning now, and oh no, it's happening again. The Rockies bullpen is fully imploding. J.D. Davis, he cracked a big 2-run home run, and Daz Cameron, who was hitting home runs left and right in the minors, he showed off that the power might actually be real. Hopefully he can keep it up. Now skipping to the 10th because it's tied up, it's Mason Miller time. Unfortunately, his scoreless streak was snapped because of that ghost runner rule. Jordan Beck, his sac fly gave Colorado their lead back, but the graphic is wrong, by the way. The ghost runner does not count as an earned run. It does count as a run, but not an earned run. This game is far from over. Geloff, he ties it again. He bloops in their 5th run, but the Rockies, they got right back to scoring in the 11th. Jake Cave, he drove in run number 6, and this is where I have a problem with ERA. Brenton Doyle, he can fly. Schumann just took his sweet time. That would have been the final out. I think that would have been the final out. Mason's first earned run in over a month comes on that play, and now it's 3 earned runs after Brendan Rodgers laces a 2-run double. Mason, he was out the game at that point, so the Rockies are up 9-5, and thankfully Max Schumann, he kind of made up for his 2 mistakes with 2 RBIs in this game. He then scores on a base knock from Toro, so it's 9-7. Hold the phone! No way! J.J. Bleday! J.J. ties it on his 7th home run, and this is the most embarrassing way to lose a game. They intentionally walk Kyle McCann. The bases are now loaded on purpose, and they walked Tyler Soderstrom on 4 pitches. It's a walk-off walk in the 11th. Now, if you thought that was a wild ending, wait until you see how this Orioles and White Sox game ended. One of the most bizarre calls I've ever seen. Mike Clevenger was not very good in this one. That is a hanging slider to Adley Rutschman with the bases loaded, but it's only a 1-run single because Tommy Pham, I thought that he was going to catch it. Everyone else thought so as well, so they had to hold up. Tommy Pham is for sure not catching this one. Santander now has 8 home runs, and Jorge Mateo, my goodness, he cranked out a 3-run 435-foot blast for his 3rd home run. He also walked and stole 2 bases. Grayson Rodriguez, he struck out 7 on the night. His off-speed pitches were dancing and working really well. He's at a 3.2 ERA and a 10.2 strikeouts per 9 through 8 starts. Adley, I guess he was not content with 1 RBIs. He dunked in a single. Both Mountcastle and Mateo scored to make it 7-2. Austin Hayes, he ran it up to 8, and then Mountcastle, even though nothing happened on this single, he had 4 base hits. He really needed that because he's been struggling lately. So we head to the 9th. What is going on? Tommy Pham, he plates Corey Julks. Andrew Vaughn, he was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. He took 95 to the bicep, which does not sound fun. Gavin Sheets, he found a hole. 2 more runs are going to score. Yanir Cano completely folded for the Orioles, so they call for backup. Kimbrel, he's going to try and put out the fire. He gets Benintendi to fly out. The infield rule was called, by the way. But why are they walking off the field? That was only the 2nd out. The crew said that Andrew Vaughn interfered with Gunnar Henderson making a play. But my question is, they called infield fly, so isn't the hitter out regardless? So the batted ball is the only thing that matters. So sometimes baseball, it's a little bit confusing in terms of their rules and how they enforce them. So because we just talked about umpires, I know it wasn't a strike call or anything like that, but Robert Manfred did speak on robot umpires. Rumors said that they would be introduced in 2025, but Manfred, he put those rumors to rest. He says 2026 is more likely. He cites technical issues, and to be honest with you, it's not a great experience. I've been to a few AAA games down here in Vegas where the A's AAA team plays. The replays are far too frequent. They take about 15 to 30 seconds sometimes. That completely ruins the pace of play, and Manfred, he does not want to have his precious pace of play ruined. Also, players have come out against the robot umpires because they say guys like Martin Maldonado and Austin Hedges, they're going to lose their job because the art of framing will not matter. If it's an automatic strike zone, framing is not going to be a thing. So you can't lie to umpires anymore. So do you guys want robot umpires, or do you think that we should just have better umpires? I feel like better umpires would be a much better thing. If this keeps on happening, I don't know who's going to have a chance versus the Yankees, especially when Garrett Cole comes back. Giancarlo Stanton, he showed off the #1 bat speed with a prodigious Stantonian blast off of Luis Castillo. 445 feet. He now has 12 home runs. Aaron Judge, he wanted to match Stanton, but his only went 414 feet. He's hitting 393 with 21 extra base hits and 22 RBIs and a 530 on base over his last 25 games. Now, remember how I said if the Yankees keep on having this happen, we won't have a chance? I didn't mean Judge and Stanton hitting home runs. I meant that if Luis Gil keeps looking like the second coming of Pedro Martinez, it'll be tough to beat the Yankees in a series, especially, like I said, when Cole comes back. He had 8 strikeouts, 8 punchies, no run allowed, and just for fun, he allowed 1 base hit over 6 1/3. 65 of his 96 pitches went for strikes, and in the month of May, he has 35 strikeouts and a 0.59 ERA in 5 starts. We're in the 7th inning now. Anthony Volpe, he stole 3rd for his 10th bag of the year. He's got an almost 350 on base percentage with 6 home runs and 10 stolen bases. Soto, he shot one through the first base, second base gap for another RBI, and Judge, he now has 22 extra base hits over his last 25 games. He gets Soto to 3rd. Verdugo, he hits a sac fly. Rizzo, the exact same thing. Now, Clay Holmes had to come in the 8th, so because he came in with the tying run on the on-deck circle, the bases were loaded, he actually gets a save despite the fact that they won by 5. He's up to 14 saves, and the Yankees bounce back, and they win 2 in a row after dropping the first 2. The Yankees, they're also the first team in the American League to 35 wins. Now, Yankees fans were not happy with Hal Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, so he is the son of George Steinbrenner. He might be rolling in his grave right now because Hal essentially cried poor and said that the Yankees cannot afford the luxury tax implications. It's unsustainable. I think that this was one of the dumbest things an owner has ever said. Your team is firing on all cylinders. Juan Soto is having one of the best first halves in Yankees history, and you come out and say, we can't afford these people. Stop it. With this home run off the bat of El Bombe Adolis Garcia, I thought that maybe Texas was going to snap out of their losing streak, but they're going through it right now. JT Realmuto, he matched Adolis with a solo home run. JT has a home run in back-to-back games. He's already up to 7. If he does this for another 3 or 4 more years, I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. Nick Castellanos, he smoked a double to... Oh, wait. No, he didn't. Evan Carter, he made a sick dive and grab to rob Nick Castellanos. Harper, he thought it was for sure landing, so he gets backpicked for a double play. Now, skipping to the 4th, Edmundo Sosa, he can flat out rake. He's so good. He doubles, and then he's going to score on a triple from Christian Pache. Merrifield, I guess he got on as well, so that is a 2 RBI 3-bagger for Christian Pache. Schwarber, he secures RBI number 30, and I just wanted to mention that Kyle has 10 walks to 4 strikeouts over his last 5 games. Imagine if Schwarber just figures out the strike zone and plate discipline halfway through a season. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Zach Wheeler needs to go 7 innings more than he needs air to breathe. Any other pitcher probably gets yanked after 2 consecutive singles to Nathaniel Lowe and Leody Taveras. Make it 3 straight singles. Bryson Stott just missed a web gem. There's a wild pitch. Now it's a walk. Again, in my opinion, any other starter is probably gone by now, but it's Zach Wheeler. His arm is made of metal. He could have gone 14 innings if they let him. He's as old school as it gets. He's gone 7+ innings 5 times already. Castellanos, he's going to try Carter, but Carter, he can't get that one. That's 4 bases, just a fancy way of saying a home run. Philly, they sweep the defending champs for their 6th consecutive W. They're the first in baseball with 37 wins. So obviously we know that Vladdy did some damage in this one, but is that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa? It is. The former 2-way superstar for the Yankees. He went yard, and by the way, I had to go find these clips individually because the broadcast was completely down through 6 or 7 innings. Kevin Gausman was vintage Gausman, but he got jinxed bad by the broadcasters. He brought in a no-no over 5 innings, and of course, the first hitter of the 6 breaks it up, make it 2 consecutive base hits. Veerling, he moves the runner over, and sheesh. Wencel Perez ripped that one up up the middle. Baez, he scores easy. Kelly, he's going to try and test Kevin Kiermaier's arm for some reason. That is a bold move, Cotton, and of course, it does not pay off. Now, before we show the rest of the game, I do want to show Gausman's 10 strikeouts. So again, he had 10 punchies over 6. That's not easy, but he throws a gem, then gives up 6 runs. He throws 2 games and then another gem, so hopefully he can find that consistency here soon. Make way, thy short king has arrived. Dalton Varsho, the 5'8 short king, he just golfed out his 9th home run. Break out the home run jacket. Don't forget his 13 defensive run saves already. Bo Bichette is looking much better over the last few days. He's really liking that 4-hole and the cleanup spot in the order. He singles in Jansen, and then pinch hitter Justin Turner. He somehow got to that ball. He drove in another. We're going to skip to the 9th. Kiermaier, he turned on the Jets after Kerry Carpenter just missed it. Danny Jansen, he ripped another RBI extra base hit. Danny, he's hitting .330 with 15 extra base hits in 24 games. And there's Vladdy. I guess he didn't really turn on that per se, but like he went 425 to dead center, and I think that Jays fans can be optimistic about that swing. The Tigers, they've dropped 5 games in a row. Paul Skeens is towing the rubber again, and this time it's not versus the Cubs. Now, he only struck out 1 hitter in the first, so obviously he's a bust. He's washed up. Andrew McCutchen nearly had a solo home run taken away from him. Matos had the ball in his glove, and the floppiness kind of hurt him. Pause. A few moments after San Francisco tied it on a fielder's choice, Joey Bart hit the power swing button versus his former team. He kind of had to hit the strut on them, and you better pimp a grand slam off the team that DFA'd you. Paul, he got through 6 innings. He was pleading to go 1 more hitter. He wasn't his usual nasty self, only recording 3 strikeouts, but he now has back-to-back starts of 6 innings on just 1 walk. That is huge if you're a Pirates fan. This solo home run from Elliot Ramos was cool. His ceiling is limitless. I like him a lot. It just didn't really matter because Brian Reynolds, he got it back on a cannonball of his own. Wait, hold on. Oh no. Matt Chapman's heater continues. His 3-run home run is his 3rd of the series. I tried to tell you guys yesterday, when he's hot, he's red hot. And did San Francisco just tie it? Wilmer Flores poked a fastball down the right field line, and the Pirates blow another win for Paul Skeens. I think he should be 3-0. Brett Wisely, he finished the comeback with the go-ahead single to center, and Tyler Rogers, he ends it. That's his first save of the year. The Giants, they're now 1 game away from 500, and they're 7-3 over their last 10. Manny Machado is really trying to turn around his slow start to the season, and a 2-run double off of Frankie Montas is a great way to do that. Jamir Candelario, he answered with an RBI double, only to have the Padres get right back to scoring in the second, but that's not before the Reds try to get cute and steal a run on a double steal, but the call was overturned after he was initially called safe. That's an out. There's the run for San Diego. Kyle Higashioka beat the double play, and Luis Ariz, he now has, am I reading this right? 8 straight multi-hit games. 8 consecutive, what is that? I didn't even know that was possible. He wasn't done there, but I do have to show Jacob Hurtubise with his first big league home run. By the way, a fun fact about him, he's the 2nd player ever out of West Point. Ellie, he had some fun in the 5th. That's probably a triple if it doesn't go over the wall for a ground rule double, but he turned it into a triple anyways. He now has 31 stolen bases, and oof, that's a big mistake if you ask me. I know he's really fast, but you cannot run there. That's an easy out. It stays 4-2 Padres. When Nick Martini shook things up, the sound off the bat was crazy. I wish I could show it and play it, but he does tie it on his 4th home run. Nando, he grabbed the lead back in the 10th, so yes, we're in extras. That 2-base RBI plates Campusano, and then Luis Ariz, he scores on a Cronenworth sac fly. Luis had 4 base hits in this one. He just became one of 5 Padres ever to have 4 base hits in back-to-back games. The first Padre to do that was Mr. Padre himself, Tony Gwynn. Robert Suarez, he saves it. He has 14 saves. AJ Smith, Shabra was throwing BBs versus the Cubs. I don't know how Jan Gomes thought that was ever going to be a strike. Now, he did walk the on-base machine Mike Tauchman, and the Wrigley sun, it showed up. It was also windy as well, so sun plus wind means that Ozzie cannot find it. Bellinger, he skied one to Ronald. He's fighting. He's still fighting, but he makes the grab. Kelnick, he might be a future Cub, and I say that because he's now hitting .440 with 4 home runs in Wrigley Field. Remember that, Cubs fans, when he's a free agent in 2029. Check out the slick defense from the Cubs. Michael Busch and Wesneski, they combined for a cool play. AJ Smith-Shabra was not allowed to go 5, so he's not qualified for a W. Dylan Lee, he got Seiya Suzuki to line out to Harris in center field. Hendricks, he's now in the bullpen now, talking about Kyle Hendricks, and really nothing changed. He allowed a single to Trump. He walked Adam Duvall, and Ozzie Albies ripped one down to right to score Trump. Atlanta then got a second run off of Kyle Hendricks on a Marcelo Zuna sac fly. I thought that ball was leaving. Hendricks now has a negative 1.5 WAR and a near 11 ERA. He's in danger of losing his entire job, even in the bullpen. He might just get cut. Raisel Iglesias got some help from the home plate umpire to wrap up his 12th save. Atlanta, they secure an MLB best 8th shutout. They're top 7 in team OPS and they're 4th in team ERA. By the way, being top 7 in team OPS with a slumping Ronald Acuna Jr. is very impressive. So that does it for today's recap. One more time, thank you so much for 500,000 subscribers. Whether you came from a walk-up song video, a recap, an MLB The Show gameplay, an interview with a player, thank you so much for your love and support over the last few years. I really appreciate it. Enjoy these web gems and enjoy the rest of your day.
Browns with a drill, a beautiful play across the diamond. He lifts that one to shallow left field. Sosa on the run, makes the catch.
Gets on base, line drive, leaping catch by Max Schumann.
Like that, and it starts to move. You're just not sure.
The 1-2, swinging a fly ball softly into right field, coming in. Kerry Carpenter's going to slide and make a nice catch.
Bart Chapman picks another. Oh my.